Hello and welcome to the Gen X Dad and his Gen Z Teens podcast. This program takes a lighthearted look at generational differences about all sorts of topics. We explore everything from pop culture to history to relationships to politics, but only at a very shallow level. We don't aim to be controversial or be the authoritative voice on any topic. We are not social scientists or scientists of any sort for that matter. We are just here to talk about the things that we think are important and that we will have fun talking about. Also, it is my opportunity to publicly and on the record prove that I am right and my teens are wrong in all cases and that the 80s and the 90s were absolutely the best time to grow up. Our topic for today is fashion. All right, now let me just start out. I am not any sort of expert on fashion, but there are certainly defining periods where just different fashions defined that time. And the 80s in particular, which is where I'm going to focus mostly on, certainly defined Gen X. It was a big period, and the reason I'm focusing on the 80s without going into the 90s, where I was still technically a teen for the early part, is in the early 90s I was in military school, so I had no fashion. I was told what to wear, and that's what I did. But there are some things that I remember and that I was aware of, that I participated in and really thought I was cool and looked great while doing it. And then we'll share that with you guys. I know you guys have seen things like on this show Stranger Things, which is based in the 80s, and you see some of those fashions that brought back a lot of memories for me, and I think for a lot of people in my generation. However, in no particular order, here's the things that I remember, starting out with members-only jackets. So many people had members-only jackets. It's one of the things when you see 80s movies now, they usually find a way to put some of them in. They were just lightweight windbreakers, but they had a pretty cool collar that was distinctive, and everyone, had some sort of members-only jacket that came in tons of colors, and a lot of people wore them. Acid washed everything, okay? Denim has always been trendy. It continues to be trendy now since Levi Strauss came up with it in California way back in the day. But acid wash, where the lighter colors or it was blended with lighter, the darker, that was very noticeable, very loud. That was a big deal. I remember I got my first acid wash jean jacket, and I wore that thing everywhere. Along the denim trend was ripped jeans really became a thing. So particularly the knees being ripped out or shredded in some ways. In fact, I actually went and made some of my own. I got some acid wash jeans. And being in rural Louisiana, I owned a shotgun, and I went out and shot them, and they actually looked pretty cool. I got a lot of compliments shooting them with a shotgun to put little holes and things like that in them. But that was a thing. Yeah, my teens are just laughing right now. I cannot believe that. Really? Go ahead. What did you say?
I just said that's the most country thing I've ever heard.
That was, man. I hung them in a tree and shot them with a shotgun. Yeah, but they were cool. The other thing at the time was the show Miami Vice was super popular, and everyone was going with the Don Johnson look. So light-colored suits, particularly white suits, a lot of pink shirts, a lot of light-colored shirts, pastels, whites, no socks with like loafers and boat shoes. So I remember I had a couple of pairs of boat shoes. Like we didn't wear leather patent shoes. You had different styles of the boat shoe, which is a sort of loafer with a non-slip that people on like yachts and stuff wear. That was a big deal. But the Miami Vice, man, look, with like a suit blazer with rolled up sleeves. That was a thing. And in fact, I still have a picture of like, I don't know, not prom or whatever, but some high school dance where, man, I was full on decked out like Don Johnson. Yeah, I was cool. The other thing that I had, and again, this one maybe thankfully hasn't come back, but parachute pants. So these are cargo type pants that became popular but made of nylon material. The style, in the sense of that they were cargo pants with multiple pockets and zippers and stuff like that all over, continue on. But man, I had some funky red ones, parachute pants that I had. The next thing, and this carries on to the day, and this will be a topic that we'll talk about, but Nike Air Jordan shoes. Okay, so I remember the original Nike shoes, Jordans that came out. And then I remember, I wasn't so much in love with the very first pair, but it was the second or third pair that came out that were all white, and they were different. They didn't look like your standard high top. I was big into basketball at that time. I remember going to basketball camp at LSU, and a couple of kids had the brand new, and they were expensive. I mean, like, I want to say they were $150 or something like that, which was crazy expensive at that time. I did not participate in that particular fashion movement. I've never owned a pair of Nike Jordans, even back then, but they were an enormous trend. And in fact, because of the price and because they were so popular, particularly and there were a lot of stories, particularly out of urban areas, where people were getting mugged for their shoes. It really became a thing. And I mean, I don't know if it's urban legend or not, but certainly people were getting mugged, beat up, their shoes stolen. There may have even been some fatalities, all surrounding these shoes. And what's crazy is, I mean, again, thankfully, I don't think there's much of a crime element anymore, except for people who do the shoe resales and stuff like that. But those are even bigger now today. And I'll let my teens talk about, maybe that segues into talking about the shoes and then talking about what you guys like to wear and how I see it through my eyes going forward. But what do you think? You guys want to start with the Nikes? Because I know you guys have a couple of pairs. I mean, you talk about them a lot, and I only understand about half of it. But why don't we start out with that, with how big are Nike Air Jordan shoes still today?
No, Jordans are still a huge shoe today. I mean, I think they're on 14 or 15 or something like that, but a lot of, especially the older ones, like the 1s or the 3s or stuff like that, are still really popular, and a lot of people wear them. Also stuff like the Blazers and the Dunks, which are all kind of like a retro-y shoe, are all still really popular. And they still make tons of new ones, and people, would pay hundreds of dollars to get, certain colorways and stuff. So yeah, they're still really popular.
Okay, and roughly, I mean, do you have some? How many pairs do you have?
Yeah, I have a pair of Jordans and a pair of Dunks. Yeah.
All right, what about you?
I have a pair of Jordans, Air Forces, and Blazers, but I mean, you see Nike shoes everywhere now. It's really only Nike and Converse.
Yeah, I was walking around somewhere yesterday, and two guys were comparing their shoes and about trying to keep them from getting creased and the whole bit. It was crazy. You guys are funny when you walk with them. Now, would you guys say that you are average or below average with the amount of shoes that you guys own in regards to the Nikes?
I'd say probably pretty average, maybe a little below average, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, we're below average.
Okay, so more kids have more Nike shoes. Okay. I got to admit, I mean, you do notice them, especially with some of the original colors and stuff, and they are clearly a big business. There's a huge secondary market that's out there, and even, I mean, what is it, where people fake them. I know that's a big deal too. Okay, so let's talk. What else? So why don't you guys talk a little bit about what you think your fashions are out there? What are most kids wearing nowadays?
I mean, it really depends, but a lot of I would say kind of baggier clothes are in, like think like hoodies, baggy jeans, cargos, stuff like that is kind of popular right now. A lot of people are wearing that. But just kind of, I don't know, I'd say kind of basic stuff like jeans, cargos, basic kind of shorts, t-shirts. Nothing really like I would say too crazy.
Yeah, kind of with the same thing here is like most clothes I see now, like at my school, they're all like really baggy. That's kind of what's in right now, I guess.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. My notes, I mean, talking about hoodies, you guys have a lot of hoodies. That wasn't as big in the 80s. And then, I mean, partly also I grew up in southern Louisiana where it's hot most of the year. So not as big a deal, although we live in a place that's hot now and you guys wear a lot of hoodies. The sweats, do most people wear hoodies and sweats to school? Is that kind of the generic thing?
Yeah, I mean a lot of people do because it's comfortable, it's easy. I mean it's school, so like who really cares so much how you look? So and yeah, I mean it's comfortable and like yeah, it's not too much effort.
That is true. I would agree with that. My schooling was a little different. I went to a private Catholic school, so we had to wear a uniform, so we didn't have as much choice. Clothing brands, what do you think? What's out there? What do you guys migrate to?
I'd say the Nike is obviously a huge one. I mean, like stuff like Hollister, American Eagle are all pretty popular.
Kind of the same thing for me, but my usual like go-to like 3 or 4 clothing brands would be like Balenciaga, Louis, Gucci. Yeah, those are like my top 3.
You are so full of it. Gucci? Who's paying for that? I know it's not me. Oh, you guys are funny. Seriously, like, do kids wear Gucci in middle school?
I saw a kid with a Gucci backpack at my school.
Okay, yeah. Let's get real. I don't know if that, again, I'm not sure public school would be that. Okay, is there anything else? I mean, older one, you're getting ready to go to prom. I mean, some fashion, especially for guys, it's not as big a deal. We got you a suit. That suit could be worn, pick any decade. Not to say you don't look good in it and all that, but I mean, some of it with guys don't change. But is there anything else you can say fashion-wise? You guys don't really wear a lot of jeans. You did go through a period where you wore a lot of jeans. Now it just seems to be hoodies and sweats and not much more. I mean, what else can you tell me?
Well, I mean, yeah, just obviously, and especially going to school. I mean, I don't really care that much about wearing something nice to school, so I just wear whatever's comfortable and easy. So I wear hoodies and sweats a lot.
Yeah, I'm not like getting in a suit and tie for school, so it's just easy and it's comfortable.
No, I get you're not that for school, but when you go out to do things, again, being boys, it makes it a little harder. Is there anything you want to say about what girls are wearing from what you've seen in the past as far as any styles there?
I don't know. I don't think really much has changed. Kind of similar to guys, I guess. But, I mean, a lot of the same stuff is kind of applies for both, I think.
Okay. Anything you want? All right. Well, I think this one's pretty easy in the sense that the 80s, what I'm getting, as you can hear, was a much bolder style. Now, what's interesting, I'll do this one last thing. We didn't have online clothing. There was no Amazon. There was no internet. So we went to malls. Do you think that shapes some of it? Like, because, again, in a large way, to some degree, even though we were less connected through the internet, it gave, in a sense, more power to these fashion brands. So, again, when something became popular, if it became big enough, everybody wore it because there was less uniqueness because we couldn't find other people. I don't know, I guess what I'm trying to say. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I think definitely. Like, I know, I don't, but a lot of people buy stuff from like Shein or something, and I think stuff like that has kind of had an influence where there's a little less, like I would say, like imagination.
Yeah, okay. Anything you want to say? All right. Well, I think this is a clean kill for the 80s fashion. We were bold. We went out there. We weren't afraid to wear some loud things that, again, you guys look great for teenage boys. But again, there's no Don Johnson pink, white blazer jackets going on with you guys. No boat shoes with no socks, and certainly not taking blue jeans out and shooting them with a shotgun. So I think we had more fun and more style, and I'm going to stick with that. So with that, that's what we have for our fashion episode. Thanks for listening. Please continue to tune in to Gen X Dad and his Gen Z teens, and we'll see you next time. Bye.